I've realized my attitude towards the homeless has completely changed from when I moved out here downtown to now. So, for example, when I moved down here, I was living with you, so I didn't see as many homeless people. You know, like you said, you just see them on the intersections, on the medians and shit. And when you come down here, they are fucking everywhere. And it becomes part of your daily life. And at that time, I was riding the light rail on the buses. So, I mean, I was constantly surrounded by homeless and bums and shit.
And you're walking.
I was walking everywhere. I'd walk to work. I'd walk by Hance Park. And I would feel so fucking sorry for these people that, you know, sometimes I'd bring them water, I'd make them sandwiches. I fucking even joined this little group where we'd hand out like packets that had like deodorant and fucking shoes and all this bullshit, socks. You know, and
yeah, you were really like you were really trying to do your part living in downtown.
I actually was, and I just, because I put myself in their shoes because I noticed part of myself in them because, you know, I've talked about it before, I was a drug addict, and I was at the point where I was either going to have to live at the, what's it called?
Crossroads.
The Salvation Army. And they wouldn't take me because I was on methadone, you know? Or I was going to be homeless. Yeah. And you're fucking luckily took, you know, let me stay at your place and shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I didn't have you, who knows? I could have went down a darker turn. But what I'm trying to say is they're either drug addicts or just completely mentally ill. And they just didn't have people to help them out and shit. So I just felt sorry for them, you know? But holy shit, man. 4 years into dealing with homeless people, I still feel that, you know, same empathy for them. But when you live with it for 4 years, your attitude changes because these guys give no fucks, right? And I got to tell you a bunch of examples leading up to this day. But literally...
Rant incoming, gentlemen.
Well, it's not really a rant. It's just
ladies.
Observation.
Yes.
This observation you can't miss. And I can't believe how disgusting but hilarious it is at the same time. I kind of wish I could see a video of how they did this. But anyway, I have a few different routes. I walk Fabius. I walk his ass 3 times a day. That's just out of the complex. And he has certain like poop spots and shit. And one of them is a parking garage across the street from the Clarendon. And it's a 3-story parking garage, right? I look over at the fucking wall, like the 3 stories up, and there is literally shit coming from the roof of the parking garage all the way down, as if the bum just took his ass and like hung it over the edge and just shit. And I just looked at it, I was like...
Was this happening while you were watching?
No, but it was fresh. And I was like, dude, this happened last night. I was like, what? I was like kind of loud. I was like, what? I was just like, what the fuck? Like, it didn't even make the ground. Like, you could see it like it was super wet. This got drier and just went down. I'm like, oh my God. But the thing is literally, if you just make that turn down the Clarendon, dude, there's a homeless encampment building up down there. It started off with, actually, when I moved down to Midtown Phoenix, it was actually just one fucking homeless guy in a car in a parking lot. He was an old dude, and I'd see him all the fucking time. I'd walk Fabius, you know, by him all the time, wave at him and shit. I felt so fucking sorry for this guy. I never actually brought him anything. I should have. Well, until I found out that I would see him at a Safeway and shit a lot because, you know, he had nowhere to go. So the Safeway is just right there, and he would just ride around on one of those little carts and shit.
Staying nice and cool, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he actually went up to Jordan and told Jordan how disgusting she was for having her tattoos and stuff. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
you weren't there though?
No, I wasn't there. You know what I mean? But I know who he was because me and Jordan saw him there again. She's like, yeah, that's the guy. I'm like, and then plus she knows who the guy is I'm talking about that lives in the car over there, you know? And so it's like, I'm feeling sorry for this guy, and he's just fucking the most judgmental motherfucker in the world, right? And then this is just one of many incidents. Like, for example, when I was living on Roosevelt Road, remember I told you about the guy that was just screaming the N-word?
Yeah. All night, right?
Yeah, so like I would just be sleeping at 3 a.m. This is literally, my place was looking at Pita Jungle on Roosevelt Row. And I'm just passed out, but I'd have the window open. It was in the winter, so it's, you know, I like fucking nice and cold so I can cuddle up. And I just hear, N-word! And I'm just like, what the fuck? and it's here, N-word. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go and look out the window, and some guy is just screaming the N-word on the top of his lungs, and it's just getting quieter and quieter because he's walking off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, that guy is crazy. And anyway, that happened 4 times, okay? And on the 4th time, I would tell everybody the story. I was like, yeah, there's this guy that just screams N-word in the middle of the night sometimes. It's happened 3 times, right? So sure as shit, me and Jordan are walking on Roosevelt Road in the middle of the day, and he is just screaming it. And I'm like, holy shit, that's the guy right there. And Jordan actually has a video of him doing it.
I know.
He's sitting on these stairs, and literally people are just walking back and forth to Lola's, like ignoring him like it's nothing. He's just going, N-word, N-word. And it's just like, what the fuck? Anyway, that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is a month later, we find out about a murder of a homeless man who snuck into a home, into one of the historic homes in the historic district. And a couple was just sleeping, and they wake up. This homeless guy's out their fucking door, and the husband wakes up, and they're like, what the fuck? What the fuck? The wife hides under the bed. He ends up in a wrestling match with the homeless guy. The homeless guy's like, just leave me alone. Just let me see your wife. He ends up wrestling the guy. The homeless guy stabs him to death, right? And the wife's under the bed and shit. They show the fucking guy on the news and shit, on the article. It's the homeless guy that's screaming the N-word. I was like, what the fuck? No way. So it's like, that guy fucking murdered. And that's like right up the street from the apartment complex, right down in by Hans Park. Then like Manny got attacked. Manny and Destin.
I remember that.
Manny and
talk
Destin
about
got
that.
attacked.
That was
fucking
crazy.
Coming back from Crescent, and fucking luckily Manny had a fucking knife on him, was able to protect himself, but he actually like got physically attacked as well, because we were so close to Crescent Ballroom, we would just walk back and forth to shows or the bar. What else was there? Fuck. I mean, these are just like crazy incidents that you deal with when you're living in downtown and stuff, but like, it's just funny how my point is like, me just as a human being, my attitude changing from when I moved down here, and how like,
yeah, that's
now
how
when I see them, like I feel so sorry for them, but I'm kind of almost like, fuck them in a sense, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? I know that's fucked up of me to say that.
It's not fucked up. It's
because they're so disrespectful. I'm not saying all of them.
No, you're not. Of course not.
And I know there are some people in like some, that aren't mentally disabled or fucking a drug addict that just are on hard times and aren't doing this shit. But these homeless encampments that are up the street and shit, I can't walk Fabius down that street anymore, dude, because there's fucking needles and shit all in that road. I'll drive you down there right after this. We can walk down there.
I believe you.
It's getting to look like, it's not even close to looking like LA or Skid Row, but it's beginning to.
And that's what kind of the crazy thing is. Think about the people like in LA and San Francisco and Portland. Like, you don't even have to talk about homeless people. Let's just talk about all of a sudden where you live has turned into a nightmare, right? Because if that homeless, if anybody, whether they're homeless, not homeless, they could be the nicest person in the world, and all of a sudden they're outside yelling hateful things, scaring people. At some point, it's so sad that homeless person wasn't not necessarily picked up by the police or figured out something.
Well, the thing is, the guy that did the murder, he was just released 2 weeks earlier for fucking setting some shit on fire.
See, that's what
I'm getting. And he's been in and out of. So the system fucking failed the guy.
The system is broken.
You know what I mean? So, and then here I am. I don't know what to fucking do. Like, I can hand them out shit and stuff, but to be honest with you, 10% of them are like, this is it? This is all you're giving me? Like, they're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? They're like even disrespectful as you're giving them the shit and you're handing things out to them.
Yeah, like, there's no fucking Big Mac in here, dude. What the fuck?
No drugs?
Yeah, no drugs.
No money? Like,
no money,
fuck?
Yeah.
Bang!